glad you all found us on The Map, the Mental Health and Addiction podcast. I'm Kimberly Walsh, and I'm here with my partners in crime, Mr. Andy Panda Bernstein, the mighty, and the gregarious and outgoing Chris Perry Long.
Just getting ready to go to a Dead show right now.
Everyone ready? Okay, so background on us, once again. Chris Long has been in this industry for many years and dedicating herself to working with families and helping people get into treatment. Andy has been an advocate for mental health and addiction, both as the producer for Crosscheck Radio and through his own experiences. For me, I'm a person in long-term recovery and the founder of a sober home for women on the Cape called. We put this podcast together because all three of us are passionate about reducing the stigma around mental health and addiction. And we believe that the more light we shed on these topics, the less people will stigmatize and punish those who suffer from these diseases. Moreover, we hope this information will help people seek treatment. And thank you to Foxboro Cable Access TV. We now have the ability to take your questions live during the show. And all of our episodes are now available on iTunes, Stitcher, and TuneIn. So please post and share the show with your followers, and don't forget to tag your friends. Okay, Andy, take it away.
All right. Thank you. It's wonderful to be here. Wonderful introduction. All right. So how are you guys doing? How's everybody?
Lovely. As I say, living the COVID dream.
I'm tied to some railroad tracks right now, and I hear the train coming.
I know. What's going on? What are you gonna be, a hobo and hop on it with a little bag and a little stick?
I'm going to be the bum on the tracks, but sorry about that.
No, that's all right. Is that really a train?
It really is. Yeah.
You have to go over tracks to get it's like right out. It's pretty far from your house. I'm surprised you can hear it.
Yeah, it happens more often in the summer.
Oh,
is that the Cape Cod train?
It is the Cape Cod train.
Does it stop in Sandwich?
It does. It does. Yeah, right down the street. And there's dinner cruises and all kinds of stuff.
Listen, we got mental health to discuss, so let's get to it, okay?
I got no mental health. It's fried eggs and ham.
All right. This comes to us from June 16th, 2020 on Gallup.com. Headline: U.S. parents say COVID-19 is harming children's mental health. It's by Valerie Calderon. Okay. 3 in 10 parents say child's emotional mental health are suffering now. 33% can't wait as long as necessary before child's mental health suffers. So basically they're saying right now the potential for heightened mental health challenges confronting schools in the fall is evidence in a new Gallup polling of parents with school-age children conducted via the web in May. Nearly 3 in 10, 29% say their child is already experiencing harm to their emotional or mental health because of social distancing and closures. Another 14% indicate their children are approaching their limits, as well as I am and probably everybody else, saying they could continue social distancing a few more weeks until their mental health suffers. And the results were based on more than 1,200 parents of children in grades from kindergarten through 12th grade whose school is closed to in-person instruction. And 97% of parents say their child's school is currently closed, obviously. So what they're saying is collaboration between schools, families, community leaders, and health officials will be even more critical to support children's needs in and out of school. So as a mother of 5 with 5 grandchildren,
what say me?
I'm getting worried about you. Chris, I'm getting worried about you. What say you on this? What say on...
So, like, from the very beginning, it happened. You know what I mean? Like, the kids, think about it. It's like you go from this life that is normal, where you have a schedule. You get up in the morning, you go to school, and you come home, and sometimes you have sports or you have other activities, gymnastics or whatever. And without warning, 100% ripped away. Then everybody's home. You know, and we can't go here and we can't go there. And I mean, we as adults can comprehend some of it, but as kids, the anxiety and the depression, like to be 11 and not have all your friends, not be able to go and see your friends. I mean, when it happened, it was the weekend of my oldest birthday, and we had to cancel it because we were terrified to have a sleepover with 11 kids. It wasn't going to happen, and now looking back, we're like kind of kicking ourselves. We should have just done it and, dealt with it later. But yeah, these kids are, they're getting prescribed via telehealth because the anxiety and everything else is out of control.
Right.
Out of control.
So one of the things the researchers said is the biggest thing is to listen to what your child has to say and put your phone down and listen. So, Kimberly, I'm going to turn it over to you. What say you?
Well, with all my children running around, I think it's a absolutely good idea. I tell them to put their phones down all the time. It'd be obnoxious. I'm just kidding. I don't have any children.
No, but as an outside observer, I mean, I don't have children either. I have a dog, and when I listen to her and she's barking at me, there's different sounds of her barks. So we know it's time to go out. We know it's time for food. We know it's time to play. We can tell by her different barks by listening to her. So it's.
Do you tell her to put her bone down? Just put your bone down and pay attention.
Yes.
To learn over here.
Yeah, but do you see? I think that putting your phone down, regardless, is important. But going back to Chris, I mean, do you see how? Can you relate to that? Do you feel like how do you deal with it? What do you?
They don't. They are. It's a new.
No, they're talking about the parent. The parent.
Oh, me putting my phone down?
No, just parents in general are supposed to put their phone down and listen to what the children has to say.
Yeah, I mean, we used to have what happens is you have all these rules set up in your household, right? And then you go to this new life, and those rules don't apply to this new life because we really don't even know what this new life is, if that makes any sense at all. So, that no telephones, we never have telephones at dinner, like ever. We we try to take them away at night, but like my 11-year-old has such anxiety that the phone is the only thing that soothes her.
A connection with others, or just
I guess I don't know. I mean, she's 11 and she's prescribed an antidepressant.
There you go.
They were quick to prescribe her an antidepressant, and as much as I'm against it, I don't know how to help her. Like, she's in therapy. She's been in therapy since I got them.
Has it helped her though, Chris?
What?
Has it helped her? Have you seen a change in her at all?
Well, there's the other big thing is that there's a lot of resistance with the other parent. He doesn't believe in it. He doesn't think that, she needs it, but he's been removed for 3 months. So he doesn't see it. He's not dealing with it. So yesterday.
That's his trip though, right? About the medicine. That's his stigma, right?
Right. Hold on for 1 second. The other big thing is that, yes, we do see an improvement. We tried the whole melatonin to help them sleep, the valerian root to help them sleep. I mean, if you think about us, how we can't shut our heads off and our brains off, I can't imagine being 11 and not understanding, and we don't have the answers. Like, that's it.
Right. I don't have the answers. So if you're a kid, I mean, my world has been so screwed up right now. And I got to imagine if you're a child.
Yeah.
It's 100 times worse because their parents can't take them anywhere or do anything anyway. I mean, it's getting better, but is it? I mean, you can go out to eat.
Yeah, right? You can go out to eat and sit outside, and I don't know. We went out last weekend. My husband and I went out last weekend, and we sat outside, and it was weird. I mean, it was nice, but it was weird. There weren't that many people out. Our waiter and waitress had masks on, and I feel so disconnected. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, it's
how
creepy to
is
me.
it was, yeah, it's creepy and it's kind of sad because, you know, you try to read somebody by their expression with their eyes, you know, are they happy? Are they sad? But you've got somebody who hasn't worked for 3 months and they're busting their ass and there's only, you know, 11 tables and 3 servers, you know, in a restaurant that used to be packed on a Friday night, you know, and
Right.
it's like, I just can't, I don't know. I mean, I just can't
You want to know
imagine.
what they look like under the mask. I've actually
Yeah.
trying to wonder that, like, if you went out on a date and you're like, 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 all right, I
I know where
really
you're
would
going.
like to know. I'd like to know what you look like because I can't, you know, your eyes are nice, but I can't see your nose and I can't see your face. Anyway, no,
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting that, you know, obviously we worry about our own stuff, but you know, God, the child psyche must be off the chart, you know, really affected by this right now.
Yeah.
You know, looking forward to going to camp, looking forward to seeing friends, looking forward to going wherever is penalized. So, you know, hopefully, you know, I know there's some things and resources out there, but you know, like they said, you know, hang up the phone, be present with your kid. That's my tip for today, for
Yeah.
whatever that's worth.
Absolutely.
I'm the guy who doesn't have kids, but all right. So, so I want to move on to talking about apathy. Right, this was a breakthrough for me yesterday, and I'm going to share it with you guys and see what you think. Okay, so I work with a guy on another project, and it's my partner, not my partner, but my partner and I are my business partner and I are working on uh, a project, and we work with a guy who owns a business, a retail business. And we said to him, listen, we really need your location in order to do what we want to do. And we really would love your support in it. And there's a lot in it for you. We're going to give you money. We're going to help you sell more product, but we need a few things and we need you to help us promote things. So, and he's a good guy. The guy's a good guy, but he's overwhelmed. He's got a ton on his plate. So for me to come in, I got all annoyed the other day because I'm like, this guy doesn't care. He doesn't care what we're doing. He could care less. I mean, we can't depend on somebody like him. He's got too much. He's not interested in what we're doing, and we got to find somebody else to do this. Right. This is my immediate go to. Right, with everything. Either I love you, either I can handle whether you love me, I can handle whether you hate me. But when you're apathetic and you're like, meh, that doesn't work for me, right? It
Define
really
define apathetic.
okay. So apathy is like, you know, you're just, you know, I'm not giving the actual definition or, you know, the Webster's, but really it's like you really don't care.
Yeah.
You're just kind of checked out to it, right?
Take it
And,
or
and
leave it.
yeah, it's
Right.
like, or I'm going to ignore you because I don't really care anymore. I'm done caring. I don't care. Right. It's just, it doesn't resonate with me. It's like I'm going to walk in the house, you know, and if you had a bad marriage or whatever, and you walk in, your husband doesn't say hello or your wife doesn't say hello. And they're just like, whatever, do what you want. I don't care. You know, you kind of like, you check out almost. Right. So I start to take it personally. Right. I really do. And
You take it
I
personally?
do. Well, we're going to get to that in
No.
a second, friend. But you know, for so much of my life, you know, I find myself taking stuff personally. But what I realize is it's actually being very narcissistic on my part. For me to think everybody's going to drop what they're doing and focus in on my project, which is the most important thing. Focus on me and drop what you're doing and make life better for me. How can you not be interested in what I'm doing, right? How can you not support that? And 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 then what it made me realize is that everybody's got their own plate. So some people are just swimming in trying to stay treading water in life, just like maybe I got kids who are driving me crazy. I got money worries. I don't know where my next meal's coming from. I got bills. I got, you know, I'm in debt, just whatever it is. So having that empathy on my part to say, you know what, that guy's got a full plate. So, you know, it's pretty uh, uh, selfish to think that what I'm doing is the most important thing that matters. But part two of this is then I think about apathy and I think, well, what if, that apathy could change from one day to the next, right? Suddenly, one day I'm having a really bad day and I don't care about anything, but the next day I might care. I might be more engaged. And so I know for me, I have a tendency to just, you get on my list and you do something to offend me, I'm tuning you out, right? I am, you get on my list,
You're
and you
one
can
and
get on
done.
my list so easily, and I just, and I know this about myself, so I'm really trying to like kind of evaluate this and use emotional intelligence or use the fact that I'm highly sensitive as a way to adjust my behavior accordingly, picking up on what somebody else has going on. So I want to try to figure out how I can make that work for me, because that's a blind spot for me. Like I blow up relationships based off of the fact that like you're apathetic to me, you don't care, you're not on my team, you're hurting me. I'm out.
So you think that you're like kind of like a quick to judge because you
Yeah.
get caught up in the moment, right? So you're quick to judge. So it's interesting. It's an interesting topic only because, when I get on my tangents and we all know that happens.
Not
When I'm
Kimberly.
focused on something,
Get
if
out.
you're not going to jump on my train, I'm just going to keep moving forward. Like I don't have time for, people that are like caught in the stigma. I don't have time to go back and explain to them that, this could be life or death.
But maybe
This,
these are the people that you actually need to spend more time with.
exactly. And what my point is that over the years, I have, and I think it's why I scored a 9 as opposed to a 24
On the test,
on the test.
Yeah, you guys
which
are
we're going
polar
to show.
opposites.
Yeah, because I think over time, what I have learned is that it's, it's kind of like when you try a new food. You might love Brussels sprouts, but I think they're disgusting, right? And I'm not going to try them because. But then I try them and I'm like, oh, actually, they're not that bad. You have to try something. You have to give something a chance. So you kind of got to give
That's it.
people, you got to give people a chance. Maybe they just don't understand or they don't know, or
Different
like you said,
operating system. They might have a
right?
different operating system than
Or
you
maybe
do.
they had a really bad experience, or like you said, we don't know what's behind their closed doors. You never know what somebody else is going through. So I think over the years I have learned the hard way, the trampling over people because they just didn't understand, or I felt that they didn't care, or they weren't participating in a capacity that I needed them to participate. People have burned me in my life, but I don't unfriend them. I you have to be a really bad person to be blocked in my life. Like we have that ability, which is, if you think about it, is insane. You can just block somebody out of your life. I'm
Yeah.
going to block you on TV. On my phone, I'm going to block you on social media. And if you know where I live and you really care, then come knock on my door. Like when you think about that, like I don't block people. There's still.
See, I do. You could really piss me off, and then I get a hate on for you, and then we're done. But what I find, so when Kimberly, we want to hear from you, but I mean, that's what I used to do, and my wife really works with me on. She works with me, part of my my deprogramming. She works with me to talk to me about not blowing up relationships, right? And so give people a chance. So like, all right, so here's the net. I told my colleague who I'm working with, I said, you know what? I said, why don't we change what we're doing, right? And make whatever that relationship is more palatable for us. So let's try to tweak it so we're not as frustrated with our partner, our other partner who owns the store. Why don't we tweak it so that we're making the best of the experience, regardless of what that person does, right? We need to be responsible for our own actions and tweak it. So it was really a breakthrough for me, and I really, you know, I'm going to start using my social, my my empath abilities to start to recognize that everybody's the star of their own movie anyway, and we need to kind of recognize that. Kimberly, what say you?
I think you guys, it's funny, for that test, you guys are like polar opposites. You know, Chris is down there at a 9, Andy's up there at a 24.
Mike, can we show the test? There you go. Oh, look at that. Look how fast you were on that. Okay.
No, he's Johnny on the spot.
All right. So go ahead.
So yes, you guys are, I think that's amazing. So into what Chris was saying, you know, you don't know what someone's going through. They could be, so approach everybody with kindness, just be kind, you know, and the 4 Agreements book I love.
I love that book, Don Miguel Ruiz. Yeah, but he says the same thing.
It's this, don't take things personally. Don't make assumptions, you know, be impeccable.
Don't label.
Yeah, don't label. You don't know what's going on in someone's head. So just approach it with kindness. You know what I mean? For me, I had to stop, no, pause before you say anything, before you need to. Because like Andy, I'm sensitive too. You know, I'm on the more sensitive side. So yeah.
Mike, can you bring the test back up so we can, okay, cool. Go ahead, Kendall. Thanks.
Yeah. So at any
click
rate,
of a button. He's got a new toy. He just clicks the button and it pops up.
And
right.
he does
His
it so well.
Deck.
Such a good button pusher.
He's Oz, the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, he's the best. All right, enough of him. All right, go ahead.
Anyway, yeah. So that's
I mean, I think
pretty much I got over that because
okay.
I think that sometimes, you know, we it's a protection mechanism. We eliminate people that we feel threatened by, or we just disconnect with those people that we feel threatened by, and
or fear,
fear and threaten, you know, and sometimes, you know, it's like I think about when I was like a little kid, and it's like, oh, I want to grow up and be just like that person, you know, because
you don't know what's behind the mask. You don't.
Exactly, right? But you know, but when I try to do things, or when I'm out doing events, or even on this, it's like I try to be somebody that everybody knows my door's open and there's zero judgment to the best that I can. Of course, you're going to judge because that's what your mind does. It's all in how you deal with that judgment. Because there's not a single thing in our lives that when we're made to make a choice or to judge, that's where our brain takes us. That's just the safety mechanism. You know, if you have somebody that comes in and, you know, they've been out on the street for 6 months and they have no money and their family has, you know, you're going to be, your judgment is going to be that poor person, right?
Yeah. And it's funny because I know for me, I am, and I want to go through the test again. Mike keeps taking off, but I want to go through the test. But what's interesting is for me, I am so hard on people. I am. I'm like, you got to show up on time. You got to be on your game. You can't, I don't allow room for error. I'm a difficult person. I don't know, you know, that goes back to childhood or whatever. But I guess what I'm trying to say is not everybody's wired like me, right?
Do you hold the same standards for yourself, Andy? Like, are you a perfectionist for yourself? Yeah.
For sure. That's why I'm a miserable person, because I mean, I'm not miserable. I'm happy. I got a great life, but yet I battle with the fact that I get frustrated. People frustrate me because I can't get what I want when I want it. Right.
Well, you give them that power too, to be able to like control your emotion like that by what they do. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. So let's
so
talk
we're just
about,
going to move on because Andy got into an uncomfortable place.
I'm an open book. I'm just telling you. No, I want to go over the test.
I understand that, but if you don't get what you want and you can't explain what you're feeling, express your emotions, what you're feeling, you're judge, jury, decide. Do you know
My
what I
sister
mean?
told me, yeah, well, first of all, two things. One, I knew an NFL player. Yeah,
Just
pretty
one?
big name. Yeah, no, I know a bunch of them, but I knew this guy who I was pretty close to. We spent a lot of time together. We worked really hard, and then I worked with a hockey player too. Um, and what I learned about my friend who played in the NFL is, on paper, his life is great. He had a multi-million-dollar contract, wife, family, all this stuff. He had more baggage than you would know what to do with, more dishonesty than you know what to do with, more emotional dishonesty. And it was all about him, right? It was all about him. Um, so, we don't know what's behind the mask. We don't know what people are dealing with. We just don't know. So I
So
think we have, go
here's a
ahead.
scenario. So when I first moved here to Foxboro, um, I met all kinds of people. I didn't know them, right? But they lived in beautiful homes and they drove beautiful cars and they wore nice clothes and they had lots of friends. And I've always been a person that, yeah, I like to dress nice. I like to look nice. I like to drive a nice car, but it's material stuff that doesn't
That's right.
necessarily express who I am. So I had this one particular friend, and she was in the middle of a bad marriage, and all she would do is complain about her husband. And everything that she said her husband did, I used to say, "Oh, my husband doesn't do that. I love my husband."
Mm-hmm.
I painted this picture, and I mean, my marriage is fine. I mean, we have our moments, but my marriage is fine, and then it was fine. But it's like I was rebuttaling everything that she said.
Yep.
My marriage was nothing like that, and it's like I think about that a lot because I wasn't being true to her, let alone true to myself.
That's right. You were being emotionally dishonest to this person.
Because why though, Chris?
I don't know. I think it's because I was new in the town and I just wanted, and she was popular and I wanted her friends and I didn't want her to not be my friend. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
So why wouldn't one would think you would commiserate with her like make her feel more valid as opposed to saying, well, my relationship's not like that.
I think I was threatened by her because she had a lot of money, and I had a lot of kids and didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. It was funny because that's a whole nother kettle of fish, but it's funny. I can relate to this because yesterday I had a call with a multi-billionaire yesterday. I didn't have a call. I had an email exchange with a multi-billionaire. He's like he is a part owner of a pro football team, right? And I got connected to him through somebody I knew here, and he connected me with that person. And I was like, I feel like such a schlepper around and then I had to stop myself and I said, you know what? I don't have anything to be ashamed of, right? I don't know if did the guy inherit money? Did he have, who is he as a person? I really was starting to feel like, all right, I'm insecure about this. But you know what?
Yeah,
Then I realized the guy's going to help me. The guy wants to help me. He's willing to help me. So there would have been a time where I would have checked my ego at the door my ego would have taken over. I said, you know what? I'm going to do it on my own. I don't need his help.
It's charity. You feel like a charity case.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to embrace this and be vulnerable to it. And like, if he doesn't help me or it doesn't work out, okay, no sweat. That's cool. Right. I'm going forward regardless, but I'm going to take that guy's help. Right. And I'm going to say, I feel like it's not being a schlepper, but I could see what you're saying. The money really, you start to get clouded by it. And you're like, oh, well, that person has more than I do. So therefore I'm going to feel crappy about myself.
Even not just money, but a status, right? Even like a status can make you intimidated too, right?
Yeah. This guy is like somebody I would never feel comfortable in talking to, or feeling really insecure. And so when I was corresponding with him, I wanted to make sure that I handled it in a way that I didn't look desperate or that I didn't look like I was less than in my emails to him. And
But it's not who you are.
Right. I was going to say, were you being were you being yourself? No,
oh yeah, I was very
being-
enthusiastic. I just wasn't desperate. I was like, I was totally being who I was. And I told him how excited I am for what I'm doing with my project, how excited I am and why I'm doing it, and really focused on the content rather than my own shtick of insecurities and things like that. I focused on the process. I didn't focus on myself and my my insecurities about money or whatever, because somebody's always going to have more money than you, right? Somebody's going to have less money than you, somebody's going to have more money than you. So
you're saying you walked through it and kind of got to the other side of not feeling intimidated. Is that?
yeah. And I'm like, so then I said to my friend Bernie, I'm like, all right, so now that we're doing this, we got to come up with a game plan. Today, we're going to sit there and we're going to write out exactly what we want. Because the guy was very specific. Here's how I can help you, but you need to write this. And I'm like, okay, I'm focusing on the process. I'm getting out of my head and thinking about the task at hand, not focusing on what he thinks of me or whatever. Because the reality is, it's an easy lift for him to make a call for me or help me. So I'm going to read that much into it. So let's bring that test back up so we can kind of talk about it. Okay. This test is I've scored 24 on this. I'm not going to lie. I was like, I might have had every single one of them. Okay. I am easily overwhelmed by strong sensory input. Yes. You guys?
I don't think I put on that one. I don't think I said yes.
Okay. Yeah, too much. I get crazy.
People really want to know all this about us.
I'm going to tell you what fine. You know what? We talk about vulnerability. I'm being out there.
I was just being funny.
You guys?
Oops.
Yeah.
No, I think it's good. I mean, I think it's good to, I think it's a good dive in and take a look at yourself, type of thing. Sorry, I'm trying to turn it off on my phone. I think it's good sometimes to look at.
Turn it off. Be present.
I know. I think sometimes it's really good to dive in and take a look at yourself and really, like, for anybody in life, right? You know, it's a constant self-evaluation. So you scored 24 today, right? You're mindful now of all these things that you need to.
I'm proud about it. I'm proud about it.
You're mindful of all these things that we're going to run through kind of quickly, and we're going to work on it. And maybe next week you take the test again and see where you scored, you know, or wait 2 or 3 weeks and work on it. Work on things that, you know, you're vulnerable at. Because
that's all I'm saying. That's how you get better, right? That's how you evolve as a person.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that goes in life in general. Oh, crap.
Right. And honestly, people learn from it. People learn.
Exactly.
You know?
That's what we do in the 10th step. We evaluate what we did every day. We go like, okay, what did I do? Like, did I make anybody uncomfortable? Did I do it? Is there somewhere I need to go and apologize? What have I, you know what I mean? You've got to look at the things that are wrong before you can fix the things that are wrong. Right.
But it's like, I can't pontificate. I can't talk about a show. I can't be on a show talking about mental health and addiction and then not be able to share my own story. Right. Like, I can't do that. So I'm going to, you know, I'll put myself out there for it. Okay. I seem to be aware of my subtleties in my environment. Yes. Other people's moods affect me. Yes. I am very sensitive to pain. Sometimes. I'm a warrior though, but I'll complain. It's cultural. I have to withdraw, get into bed or a darkened room when I've had enough. Yes. Sensitive to caffeine. Yes. And loud noises and loud noises. I am easily overwhelmed by things like bright lights, strong smells, coarse fabrics, or sirens. Not coarse fabrics, and not really strong smells. Nah, I'm not that one. I have
coarse fabrics.
I know.
That's what it says.
I just
It
like
says
bypass that because I'm about as sensitive to nothing.
I'm not either. All right, that's one of the one.
Rude.
I have a rich, complex inner life for sure. I am made uncomfortable by loud noises. Yes. I am deeply moved by the arts or music. Meh.
That's a yes.
I get
Yeah.
frazzled. I have to go up
That's
off.
Kimberly. Was that a yes for you?
Yeah.
Me too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I have to go off by myself, and my nervous system gets so frazzled. Yeah, and somebody told me it was the Irish goodbye, and I thought that was tremendous.
The Irish Catholic. Yeah.
Yeah, the Irish goodbye. Because like if I was out at a restaurant or in a situation where I didn't feel like I was getting attention or I wasn't in a necessarily a great place, I'd bail, and I wouldn't even say anything. I just
Bye.
bye. Where'd
Yeah.
Andy
Just
go?
go to the bathroom and then you just leave.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like, I'm done
slip
with
out the
this.
back door.
Too much of a group, too much. I don't feel like I'm blending in. I'm bored. No, nobody's talking to me. I'm out.
Peace out.
And I'll just disappear. I just
Yeah.
disappear.
Wow.
Conscientious. I am conscientious. Yes.
Yes.
And I startle easily.
Yes.
No.
I do startle easily.
All right. So let's go over this. All right. I scored 24 or whatever.
Now
look
it's
at
whatever. Now it's whatever.
Just look at these.
You're proud 24.
I am proud. You know why?
Yeah.
Because I own it, right? That's for
Yeah.
me, my whole thing. If I own it, then I can work on it and I can
Exactly.
fix it. So I'm not going to put myself in situations where these things affect me. Like I don't like going to sporting events anymore because there's too many people. And
I don't
now
like
they're
it either
Petri.
because they're all drunk and
Exactly.
it's like it's very unpredictable. But I think that COVID took care of that for us.
Yeah. So I mean, what do you guys think of that test? I mean, can you relate to this at all? On any, I'm not going to make you go through it.
Again, if you want to,
No. But
I liked
just
it.
what can you point out on each of you? Like, what do you think?
I thought it was accurate. I think for an EFTJ, the other test. Yeah. I thought it was pretty accurate as far as, yeah, are you highly sensitive? Yeah. So as a kid, everyone said, don't, cry. God help us. We don't like that. And Irish Catholic, nobody wants to see you cry. This is after you don't do that.
Cultural thing.
Yeah, anything. Any emotion is bad. So yeah, I was always
Wow, really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're not yeah. Trust me, and the guilt. Everything's our fault. And we gotta fix everything. It's very
Well, Jewish guilt is the same thing. But
you need to make up your mind. Are you Irish Catholic or Jewish? What are you this week?
who said it was Irish Catholic? Andy O'Bernstein. Seamus.
It was he said the Irish goodbye. I threw
Yeah, you said the Irish goodbye.
Continue, Kimberly.
Anywho, yeah, that's why it was. I think I'm sensitive, and I guess you are what you think you are too. You know what I mean? But a lot of those things, I was a 16, so
Where does it come? Where do you think it came from?
The Irish Catholic, for sure. I mean, I think, and highly sensitive. I think you're born that way. I don't think you have a choice. I mean, it's something you're born with. I've always been highly sensitive to other people's moods. They're in a bad mood. I need to fix it. I need to make them feel better. It's what we do.
Yeah, but then we put ourselves at risk.
Right.
Like if we're fixers, right? I'm a fixer. I'm
all three of us are.
Right.
All three of us are the biggest people pleasers in the world, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so this week, like it's been a bad week. It was last Friday. I was totally disconnected on the show. I was really upset about unemployment. I was just in a bad place. And I, by the end of the day, I was like, this is not who I want to be. It's making everything else in my life a mess. I don't want to be this way. I have to make a personal decision to change, and only I can change. So what did I do? I put my shoes on and I went for a walk and I cleared my head. And, for me, I lifted it all up to God and I let it go. And
there you go. Yeah.
right. And then I've been walking and it's been so good for me. That self-care. It's been 4 days in a row. I think I'm going to try to walk again today. I don't know. I have Mr. Chubby Bubby here all day. So I don't know. And it's hot. So I don't know if I'm going to make it to walk today or maybe this afternoon. I want to walk because it's right now, it's what's working for me. You know, next week it might be something else.
Right.
You know,
You're taking care of yourself, right?
Right.
It could be whiskey
Which-
next week. I'm kidding.
Yeah, it could be whiskey next week, or yeah. I mean, but
But
it's
the
just,
point being, you know what, you knew you needed an attitude adjustment because you knew what was going, you were going down that road. It's not a road you want to go down because it's no fun for anybody. So you did what you had to do to get out of it. And that's a difference. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, there are some days where I feel so overwhelmed and the phone, I feel like everybody wants something from me. It happens all the time. Now, did I create that for myself? Probably, right? Because I'm a fixer and everybody wants, but I do feel everybody wants a piece of me and I get very overwhelmed because I take on everybody's stuff. So then I was like, leave me alone. Everybody just leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Then you get,
but then I feel bad.
Why are they bothering me?
Yeah, but
Right?
then I feel bad that I'm not being, helping others. Right. So where's the gray area? So am I, so I guess what I'm saying is with the highly sensitive, it's like, be attuned to your own stuff too, not just like, oh, well, I'm worried about this person and this person. It's like I can be highly sensitive and, and know like I don't have to overthink something or, like I was saying, the guy who we were working with, he's he's busy. He's got a lot going on. Has
Plus,
nothing
you
to do
can't
with
give
me.
away what you don't have, Andy. If you don't have, you know what I mean? You've got to be whole in yourself before you can really help someone else, right? For the most part. So you
Yeah.
pick yourself up before you can help the other people.
Well, I think helping other people could be simply sharing your own experience with them, being emotionally available and honest to say, you know what, I hear what you're saying. I go through that too. Actually, some of my experiences are this, 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 and this. This is why I like doing the show because I'm perfectly fine with sharing my own stuff. I'm wide open, right? My life's an open book. That helps me. That helps me move forward as a person because
100%.
I have nothing to, I don't have anything to hide. And honestly, in my life, I've probably experienced it all, right? You'd be hard pressed to find the things that, I've gone through, knock on wood, but, you know, I'm not jinxing myself, but I have gone through so much and I've learned how to uh, interpret that,
Yeah.
and
Not
move.
all people are the same though, but just because they don't share those things doesn't mean that they're bad people or that they're hiding something. It just may mean
No.
things like they got burned before, so they're a little cautious. Or they were raised Irish Catholic and they are still, you know what I mean? And
Right. Well, that's your thing. That's the way you process. But I'm just saying for me,
yeah.
The way I try to help people is by sharing my own experiences and be open to having that discussion with someone who wants
and it
that
makes
discussion.
you relatable. I think for you, I think makes you relatable, to people because you're so, I think that's part of one of your strengths.
I think that part of the problem, with the world today, and we sort of saw that shift is, I think the three of us and many of other people were raised with morals, values, and I don't want to say like love, but it was very different. Like stay home moms were a thing in our time, or stay home dads were a thing in our time, where your children were raised in home, not in daycare. I mean, I'm not knocking it. Please don't take it like that. But I think like this generation of kids that have kids, like my kids that have kids now, there's so much pressure in life to have that big house and drive those nice cars and have kids that are smart and good in athletics. And there's so much social pressure that they don't know how to deal with it because we didn't have to deal with it. Do you know what I mean? Like it goes with all these riots and stuff, you've got, which is another whole topic, but you've got people that are fighting for Black Lives Matter. I mean, at the end of the day, all lives matter. And I think everybody that's out there protesting will agree. You know, I mean, it's all
But
social media.
Black Lives Matter right now,
Right,
right? In
right,
this, their house is on fire, not our house. Their house
right,
is on fire.
right. You know, and it's like, where did we go wrong as a society that 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 stigma, that line between black and white, between, you know, yellow and white, between the color of your skin, where did we go wrong with severing that? We haven't severed that. That still exists, you know.
Prejudice.
Yeah, prejudice still exists. Where did we go wrong? And now you've got people that aren't going to wear masks, and you've got people that are compromised, and, you know, I mean, I think it's like, it's all fear based, and
And
we
it's
have to.
with sensitivity, though, in a lot of things, because it really
Right.
rattles your world. And so you don't really know how to respond to it. So um,
No, yeah.
I,
I mean, we're in such a confused world right now, and it's not even just Massachusetts, it's the world. You know, you've got your numbers climbing in Florida of COVID cases, you've got your numbers climbing in Texas, you've got numbers spiking again, and then you've got places that are saying, no, we're not shutting back down, we're not shutting back down, we're just going to push through this. And it's like, for me personally, I'm like,
the
that's really,
onus,
that's selfish.
well, the onus is really on you to interpret whether you're like, okay, I'm going to follow that person into the fire, and I'm going to listen to what they say, right? But not understanding they may have their own political agenda. And I'm not talking about the president, but a governor or whatever. Oh, well, you got to go out there because they said we got to start the economy, right? And so therefore, we're telling you what to do, right? Or you can interpret and say, wait a second, what they're asking me to do doesn't feel right for me, right? And I am not going to be dictated. Like, I hate holidays, right? Like Valentine's Day, made up holiday. Uh, it's like, don't tell me when I can celebrate and when I can't celebrate. I cherish my wife every day. I don't need to celebrate, oh, well, I treat her, Valentine's Day is the day I'm going to treat her special. She's special all the time. So why do I have to, respond to that? So if somebody tells me, oh, it's okay to go out, well, I'm going to make that decision, but I need the information to make sure that I'm going to make that own decision. You need to provide me that information and the
Right.
facts,
And at least you have a choice. I mean, at least in this
that's what I'm saying.
choice. Yeah.
We're all accountable for our own actions. And if you decide, oh, well, my governor says it's okay to go out. Well, you might be trying to win re-election and appeal to a base. So therefore, I know we're not talking politics, but you might try to appeal for a base. So your agenda is completely different than mine. My agenda is I want to stay safe. I'm not having to follow exactly what you're telling me to do, right? Because the system is a certain way and you're telling me to do that. I don't have to do what you're telling me to do as far as get back out there. I don't have to do it. I can go when I want to, right? I can wear a mask. I may have to go in a store and wear a mask. I'm not going to exercise or walk wearing a mask. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, we have freedom of choice. We all have freedom of choice.
So the governor today, or last night, or yesterday, I was looking on my phone to see if I could find the exact number, but I think they said something like 13% of the restaurants in the state of Massachusetts, don't quote me on the number, please, are not going to make it. Like those restaurants.
Fact checker.
Yeah, I don't know the numbers, honestly, but it was just, you think about those people, and like last week I lost somebody to suicide. And we've been talking about suicide, and we've been talking about how, this whole COVID thing is really putting people in a dark place. What can we do? What can the three of us do to maybe brighten that dark place for people? What is it going to take to, I can't change the world. I know that as much as I want to, but I can change right here.
Yeah, I think one thing we can do is not engage in the fear. You know what I mean? When you propagate the fear, when you when you talk how ominous it is and how bad it's going and how, you know what I mean? That just feeds feeds the fire. If we talk about things that we're grateful for, things that are positive that are happening, inspirational stories like that keep us motivated to go in the right direction. I think from a very grassroots, small, and position that we're in, that's what I think is part of what we can do. At least something,
Okay, so I'm going to challenge you guys. Okay, this is for next Wednesday's show, beginning of the show, and you can't tell anybody. And we'll see what happens. This is your challenge. You have to find a current feel-good story. Okay, a current feel-good story in the state of Massachusetts.
Done.
Okay.
Done.
All
I
right,
love it.
Andy. All right, and that's going to be our check-in. Is a feel-good story, and we can't tell each other. Individually, I think Mike will be on vacation, so we won't be able to put the article up, but it has to be and we're going to talk about that for our check-ins. That's your challenge for next week.
I love it.
Does that work? Good story.
Ding, ding.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? And I had this discussion the other day, and I got to remind myself that working in the media and have worked for so long, I know for a fact that if it bleeds, it leads, right? So the stories,
got it.
The stories that are going to be told are going to be about things that are going to attract ratings and viewers, and human interest stories. Like I said, always at the end because that doesn't attract people. If people want the car wrecks, they want to see that, right? That's the thing that tune in. And so I have to remind myself that I'm going to watch the news. Everything's going to be bad. It's always going to be bad because that's how they get ratings. That's how they attract viewers and listeners is, MSNBC, not news. It's not news. It's commentary, right? CNN has become commentary. It's not news. So, to uncover stories, good stories, I think is great because we don't hear enough of them. Truth be told, we need to hear more of those. So I'm up for the challenge, Chris.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that's our show. That's our show for the week. And thank you, everyone.
One more thing real quick. I know that we said we were going to talk about the modalities today,
we missed that. We went off.
We apologize. We will definitely address that in a future show. I apologize.
Don't take it all on you, Chris. It's not
we'll have a clinician on and maybe talk to a clinician or something about that.
Yeah, maybe we'll have Drinkwater come back and share his words of wisdom and knowledge, or somebody else. We'll love to hear from you. So, all right, Kimberly, take us out.
All right. Okay, guys, as you all know, we do this podcast not only to help reduce stigma, but to be of service to anyone struggling with addiction or mental illness. We do have access to an entire network of professionals, and we can help you find the right fit. So please reach out to us on Facebook or first give them below our names during the podcast. You have been listening to The Map. Thank you all for your submission. We will see you again.
Happy Father's Day.
Yep.
Happy Father's Day. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye now.
Bye.